How's it going? Welcome back to another show. This is You Made Roscoe, and I am Roscoe. And today we're going to be doing a reaction to a video that is called NBA Legends and Players Explain How Scary Good Prime Charles Barkley Was. That's a lot. And before we get into this, I do want to ask for anybody who hasn't that they please subscribe to the channel and also make sure you hit the notification bell. That way you'll be reminded of future shows. Um, and yeah, Barkley, he is one of those players who's one of my favorites from an era that had a lot of my favorite players. Um, it was a great era to be able to watch. And Charles Barkley was something when he came into the league. You know, he was something different because he was of course a power forward who was crazy undersized. You know, in a league where that he came into, and still up into this day, you know, as far as height goes, you know, he's like crazy undersized. He was listed as 6'6" during his playing career. I really tend to believe that he was more like 6'4", 6'5" at the most, you know. But this is a guy who, at his position, would go up against guys who was 6'9", 6'10", 6'11", you know, maybe on a couple of occasions 7 feet, you know, but still, even then, you know, he was able to not only hold his own, but dominate, but completely dominate at his position. So it's gonna be fun to watch some of these highlights and watch what some of you know, players who played either alongside him or against him had to say about him. So let's go ahead and get this thing started.
Hey man, it's your boy YG aka Yangala and Charles Barkley. If I had to use one word to describe what his game was, I would have to say unstoppable. Because the guy was a beast, and once he's in that paint, there's no one to stop him. And what made Charles Barkley so special is that he was undersized for his position. Like, the man was 6'6" at power forward. And Charles Barkley in his MVP year was averaging 25 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. So the fact that big man's can't stop him from the paint is just unbelievable. But what's really impressive is that he averaged a double-double for his entire career. Like, to average 14 rebounds in a season at 6'6" is just crazy. There is a lot of 7-footers that never even got close to averaging 14 rebounds in a season. And then Charles Barkley won an MVP during Michael Jordan's prime. That's also another way of showing how great he was. But we can all say what made Charles Barkley a Hall of Famer, a legend, is that he was relentless. He don't care how big you are. He's going to get that rebound. So anyways, man, we're gonna listen to NBA legends and players talk about how scary good prime Charles Barkley was. But before we get straight into that, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for the culture so you won't be missing any of my videos. And let's get to the vid, man.
What was it like, truthfully?
We're in their corner and on it because their local agent is a small business owner too.
I'm making this quick video because it has been 1 month since joining the Cashflow 101 system. And so what I wanted to do is
Playing against Charles Barkley.
The one moment that I can pick with Charles, we were playing Philly in the playoffs. And I guess I got into a hot rhythm and I had about 40-some points. And Charles was yelling. I can hear him yelling in the huddle. Talking about, who's going to guard this guy? Somebody's got to guard this guy. That's all right. I guard this guy. So I go and then we playing and we got into a switch. And Charles jumps out and guards me. And yeah, I never known Charles as a defensive stopper. So the first thing he does, he breaks down in this defensive position with hands up. Everything looks technically right. And I just laugh. I say, when in the hell are you going to start playing defense? And who taught you how to get in a defensive stance? And I had to pass it. But that's the type of guy. He would take on a challenge, even though he was not up to the challenge. He didn't care. And that's just him.
Do you speak that highly of Charles's golf swing?
You know, I don't comment on that. You know, that's embarrassing. It's really disgraceful that, you know, he can take a game of leisure and relaxation and make it a lot of work.
And ugly. and ugly. Like that's one thing. Charles Barkley has never been known for. I don't know what his actual game looks like on in golf because but his golf swing, ooh, Lord have mercy, and that's coming from somebody that's never swung a golf club, at least not on the golf course. Not on the golf course, maybe in another situation or so, but not in and I forget I had a buddy who got beat up pretty bad with a golf club, but a whole nother thing. But yeah, no, that was bad. But what he said about Charles and his defense, and that's one thing people always they throw shit basically on Barkley's defensive prowess. I never looked at him as like the worst defender ever. He wasn't known for defense at all, but he wasn't the worst either. And then like he played his position pretty well, given the fact that most of the people that he would be matched up against, like I said earlier, is like way taller than him, So what was you gonna do anyway? You like, and these are the best of the best. So if you playing against already taller dude, and he's an NBA player. You know what I mean? Like he go get his money anyway. So I think Charles Barkley kind of gets undersold in that regard because people don't realize who he was matched up against most every night. Like from a physical standpoint, at least what it looked like, it was a mismatch, to his disadvantage all the time. So he can only do so much, as a 6'5", 6'6". He was not 6'6", but let's just give him 6'5", but a 6'5" dude versus more times than not 6'9" to 6'11", and every blue moon a 7-foot, so yeah, there's that, but let's keep it going.
That was cruel.
Oh, boy, don't ask about his golf game, man. Oh, man.
No. Because if it was not for Barkley, Malone, those guys, I wouldn't even be here. And I look at it like Patrick Ewing. I wanted him to get one. Barkley, Malone.
I'll never forget when we walked off the floor after losing to Portland. Lionel Hollins said to me, "We need a Barkley on this team."
Lionel made the comment, "What we need is another Charles Barkley to make this team go to another level." And Cotton Fitzsimmons was certainly aware of that.
And then Charles came in and was all pro his first year.
We gave up a lot, but we got Charles.
Barkley was a dominant player, extremely dominant in the post area. He was one of the best and most talented players that's ever played the game of basketball in this history.
Charles had this, magnetism about him, and he was very confident. Who wouldn't want to play with a guy like Charles? He wasn't going to lose. I mean, he would take everybody on his back and say, "I'm going to get you the promised land."
Barkley is Barkley. I don't think he's 6'3". He was just one of those rare players that size didn't matter. It was just determination.
Rebound, Barkley. He battles, he shoots,
Jamal Wilkes said it right there, man. Like the determination of this dude and everything they said about his will and all that good stuff. Like that's what he was all about. Like it was just like he had that "you're not gonna beat me" mentality. Like I'm gonna win this, even if he was playing against teams that were better or whatever the case was. It was just like, dude, I'm coming at you. like in order to get this victory, you're gonna have to whoop my ass, dude. It's gonna be a battle every single time. But that was his will.
Scores, Sir Charles.
I mean, he would take on Goliath. I mean, he was just had that.
I've got moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now there's Sky Rizzi. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90%.
That bravado about him. So Charles, he was unbelievable what he accomplished for his size.
Charles Barkley is probably one of the greatest power forwards of all time, for sure, because of his skill set.
he was still able to dominate inside the paint. His rebounding is second to none. I mean, this guy was just a beast on the boards. To be only 6'7" or so and be able to snag 20 rebounds and, you know, on a nightly basis seemed like was incredible.
Charles was a different kind of competitor. He wanted to destroy you. I mean, he was a fun guy and he's super off the floor, a great guy to be around, but such a competitor on the floor, and there was nothing that he couldn't do on the basketball court.
Here's the lob for Barkley, goes up and jams! Oh, beautiful alley-oop for Sir Charles.
He could get on the roll when the team's down, and he can create a 10-0 run by himself.
And we knew we had a superstar. And not only a superstar, we had a person who could sway the officials one way or the other by his aggressiveness, by his physicality, and that was unheard of.
Ceballos he was a good scorer. He was a good player, you know, mainly scorer, you know. But old Cedric Ceballos.
Besides Karl Malone in the Western Conference.
He was so genuine. He'd give you the shirt off his back. Great teammate. Cared about winning more than anybody I've ever played with as far as when the game started. Hated to practice. Was the worst practice.
I'm going to push that back just a tiny little bit, but I have to stop it for Thunder Dad, man, because Dan Marley was one of my favorite players. You know, he wasn't like a superstar, nothing like that, you know, but a very good role player. Like, he can get you a hot little 16 to 20 points on a given night, you know, and he good defender, you know, got hops, you know, and he had this like this Western Conference look to him. I call it the Western Conference look because he looked like a beach dude, you know, like he could be on a surfboard somewhere, but tanned up and all that, you know, but yeah, no, and muscles. You know, look at this guy. You know what I mean? He looked like he could sweep a few women off their feet, but no, just a really good player. And I used to love Dan Marley, but let's keep it going.
Give you the shirt off his back. Great teammate. Cared about winning more than anybody I've ever played with as far as when the game started. Hated to practice. Was the worst practice player in the world.
He was the best basketball player I'd ever played with. I'm not saying he's the best basketball player ever, but the one I played with, he was the best basketball player I'd ever played with.
What did Charles do? Credibility, star. This is the guy to get us over the hump, to get us to the promised land and win a championship. One of the most iconic basketball players, like a rock star, and he's going to join your team, a team that's won 50-plus games every year, and now you're getting Sir Charles. You're pretty excited about what could happen.
We had knocked on the door of getting to the finals 3 or 4 times even before we got Charles.
And that team loved each other. They didn't have to embrace Charles because they had been good before Charles got here, and they had to remind him of that sometimes. You know, Chuck, you're not the reason we're winning. We were winning before you came.
But we never really had that chip. We never really had the confidence to think that we can go past the Western Conference Finals and even get into the finals. And I think that's what Charles brought to us.
Trade was made, dust settled, and we were a better team.
Look at all these players they had on their team, and I used to love those Suns teams from back in them days too. Except for when they played the Bulls, then you know I had to choose, you know, and I'm gonna choose, you know, Chicago all the time. But look at all these dudes they had: Ceballos, Chambers, who I used to love as well. Kevin Johnson, Mark West. I remember Danny Manning was on the team for a bit. They had like a load of dudes, you know, and they everything they were saying was correct about like how they was winning like lots of games even before Charles. I remember those years like big time because I was a big time Suns dude. I liked a lot of those, more than a few of those West teams. You know, I was a big fan of them. The Rockets was another one of my teams from back in that time. And there's a few other ones, you know, that I was rocking with on the Western Conference. You know, the West was always rocking, like always, like ever since I've been watching basketball. Like the Western Conference was always like they was going hard over there, you know, and not that the East wasn't, you know, because the East back in my time too, was super tough, was big time tough. You know what I mean? Was equally as tough, or if not better. You know, it's nothing like how how it is, and in recent years, it's just now starting to get back a little bit to if you want to call it some form of balance between the conferences. But I remember for a long time after that heyday of like the late '80s to the '90s, you know, somewhere up in there, like it was a long, long drought for the East. Like you'll have like one or two teams over there, then everybody else was garbage, and it stayed like that for a long time. But the West has always been rocking, you know. But let's keep this going.
I mean, we really were. I mean, this guy would go out and do what he needed to do to get you a win. I mean, he scored, he rebounded, he'd stand back and block shots, and he carried the load. He really did.
He came to town, and he said, "Tell Karl Malone there's a new sheriff in town."
Barkley puts the ball on the floor against Karl Malone. Barkley wants the shot. He turns inside, doesn't get it, gets his own rebound, and follows up and scores. Barkley.
On the point. You know, he did take over the city, and he still takes over the city wherever he goes. I mean, that's just his personality. Literally, he is larger than life.
With the addition of Charles, he brought a different persona to the team. It was East Coast toughness.
He gave us an arrogance. He gave us a stability going like, hey, if we're in the alley and we get into a fight, I know we're a finesse West Coast team. We can grind and pound and get physical as well. And it just was contagious, and everybody felt.
And I owe a lot of my success, I think, in the NBA to Charles.
Percy Hawkins. Oh man, you know that blast from Philly Charles days. You know, but I used to like Percy Hawkins too. That's what's up.
You know, Charles was the kind of player that, you know, he just exude confidence. You know, he knew he was a good player, and he demonstrated that every night. And you know, there a couple of, you know, true story is, you know, we're playing against the Detroit Pistons, and you know, they have Isaiah and Joe Dumars, and this is when Dennis Rodman was on the Pistons as well, and you know, they have Bill Laimbeer, and I have an awful first half. Feel like I'm scoreless. I have 0 points. I'm 0-7 from the field, and I'm just playing awful. And coming out the second half, Charles literally grabs me by my collar, by my jersey, and grabs me sort of close to him, and then, you know, I can't say exactly what he says, but it's more like, you know, get your crap together. You know, you're too good to be, you know, scoring 0 points and, you know, out there playing like, you know, so I'm like, holy crap, you know, what's going on? And, you know, that alone to say, you know, I had a great second half, but, you know, but he had faith in me and the confidence that, you know, he knew he was the #1 player on the team, and he was like, you know, you're #2. You know, I need you to go out there and score and be my #2. And he made sure every night that I was prepared and ready to play. So I owe a lot to Charles.
So guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and tell me, where would you rank Charles Barkley on the all-time power forward list? And if you have any favorite moments from him, comment down below. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, and show love to the YG gang, and I'm out.
Oh, there ain't nothing else back there. But that was Barkley, man. You know what I mean? Old Sir Charles. That man was a beast, a big time monster, if ever there was one. I want to push it back just so we'll have a picture of Barkley on the screen, you know, at the end of this. We're still on Percy Hawkins. I want to have Barkley on the screen somewhere. But yeah, no, this dude, man, complete monster, complete beast. You know, I remember the talk when he had first came into the league, and you know, people were always talking about how he was, of course, undersized, but he was too chubby and all that. I remember seeing clips and videos of players like Moses Malone and Dr. J, because when Barkley came to the team, they were like long in the tooth and all that. So he joined them, but they were trying to tell him to get himself in shape and all this other stuff. And uh, I'm guessing that he did that to some degree, because it seemed like he bulked up a little bit up top, but he still stayed husky, if you want to call it that. But like basically his whole career and up to right now, he's still kind of the same shape. But he was always a husky dude, so it looked crazy to see like to basketball players. He was a fat guy, and so you got this fat guy running out there on the court. He's speed wise able to blow past people, you know. He his handle was great. You know what I mean? To be a power forward, he had to grab a rebound and start and start up the other way like it was nobody business all the time. So he'll start the fast break all the time off the rebound. But just an amazing player, an all around player. He'll pop that three too, even though he wasn't a great 3-point shooter, but he could be clutch with the threes, when need be, but clutch player, immense rebounder, he's right up there with Dennis Rodman as far as best rebounders for their size ever, so yeah, and the scoring ability is just like crazy. He could pass too. Like they said that MVP season that he had, he was averaging somewhere a little more than 5 assists a game. So he was doing everything. Back then. Even though like that MVP season, I always tripped during Mike's prime, because I always felt like Mike could have and should have probably won an MVP for probably like his first 8 to 10 seasons. He could have been the MVP. Well, not necessarily in the first couple of them, because of the team success. But if you judged him just off of the individual numbers, then Mike could have been it all the time. And I think like one of the year that he won, the years that Karl Malone would win MVPs, it was more of that what they call I guess is writers fatigue or whatever, because the writers and all them people were the ones who were voting for this stuff, and they just got tired of voting for the same dude all the time, so instead of Jordan, they'll pick somebody else who is having great success that particular season, whatever. But no, this was fun to watch. And I'm a get ready to end this. Before I do, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the share button, hit the playlist option. You'll pick the one named Basketball Highlights. I do have a playlist where, I got a lot of stuff like this where we're focusing in on, some basketball players and their careers, their playing careers rather, that type of stuff. So check for this video in that playlist. I do have playlists for other things. A lot of that stuff is going to be music based, but as you can see, I'm doing some other things other than that. So when you get a chance, check through that playlist or those playlists rather, for everything that's over there. Cash App, $, You Made Roscoe, PayPal at You Made Roscoe for those who like to show their support or appreciation for the work being done on the page. There's that. And any donations or anything like that, you're going to make it at one of those two at the bottom of the screen. So that pretty much concludes this. So I'm going to leave. You're going to leave. We're going to reconvene at a later date. A later date for you could be like as soon as you click out of this video, click it to another one with me. So until then, be safe and be good.